Good evening and welcome to the last live session as part of our virtual open evening. For this session, we will be talking about study progression opportunities in quality and regulatory affairs. My name is Lauren Reynolds. I am an Alumni Officer at ATU and I will be your host for this evening. So just to go through a little bit of housekeeping before we start, we won't be accepting questions during the live session, but you can pop over to the platform and there is a Q&A box there that you can input your questions. This session will also be recorded and the video published online as well. So if you want to catch any of the information again, it will be made available for you. So for this session, I am joined by our panelists. We have Mary Butler, who is a lecturer in Life Science Department at ATU Sligo and Programme Director for the Online MedTech Regulatory Affairs Programmes. You're very welcome, Mary. We have Marilla Keating. Marilla Keating is a lecturer in Quality for Industry at our ATU Galway Mayo campus and Programme Coordinator for the Quality for Industry Level 7 degree. And we also have Eugene Laverty, who is the General Manager for the European Operations in Cardiosurgical, and he is also a past graduate of the MSc in MedTech Regulatory Affairs. So you're all very, very welcome to our session this evening, and thank you for giving us your time. So I suppose to start, look, this is an area that has seen massive growth in Ireland, and Ireland certainly has an ambition to be this global medtech hub encompassing the areas of quality and regulatory affairs. And ATU has been very responsive and in collaboration with different public agencies and also different universities within Ireland to deliver and create these programs that I suppose, that meets those demand for the skills within that sector. So the lecturers on our panel this evening are going to talk a little bit about the programs that we offer, and indeed we do have a range of them from level 6, level 7, level 8 to level 9, and all sorts of delivery models as well. So this evening it'll just be a sample of what we have on offer. So I'll start with Marilla to speak a little bit about your programs, and I suppose just to give us an overview of the programs in quality that you teach on, and in terms of what learners can expect from the modules.
Okay, thanks, Lauren. Hello, everybody. Good evening. So I'm going to talk about what's on offer in ATU Galway. And so we've got blended programs, level 7 and level 8. So, Lauren, they're called Quality for Industry, level 7 add-on 60 credits, and level 8 add-on 60 credits, Quality for Industry. So the actual name kind of suggests that it's actually for all industries. So it's not just medtech that we serve. We also do automotive, pharmaceutical, biopharma, test services, sterilization sites. So like it goes beyond medtech. So the types of modules that we go through would be this quality management. We've 3 embedded certificates in the level 7. So quality management is the first certificate, and that goes through the basics of quality systems, quality techniques, total quality management, a little bit on Lean Six Sigma and that. The second certificate in the level 7 talks about regulatory affairs, clean room and validation. So the basic principles there of regulatory affairs, the pathways, the validations, the process validation, automated validation. And the third certificate then is production and Six Sigma Lean, and there's a project then as well. So that's a level 7. So it needs a level 6 for entry, and or RPL. Now, we have a really good RPL process all through ATU. We have a great coordinator there that'll help applicants who don't have a level 6 to look at their learning. Anyone's working on a production line for 2 or 3 years, be amazed the amount of learning, experiential learning that we can assign credits to as well. So that's the level 7.
Brilliant. And the level 8 then, is that similar in those modules as well?
It is actually, and the level 8 is a progression from the level 7, and that has 9 modules, and it's 2 years. Similar to the level 7, it is 2 years. Although the level 7, the difference between the 7 and 8 is that the level 7 is an a la carte. So you can select a module, you can select a certificate, you can come and go. But the level 8 that we have is progressive. So you do year 1, and then you get an embedded certificate for year 1, and then you can go and do year 2. And the key about level 8 is that it's more in depth. So it's students need to do a lot of research themselves. We enable their learning more. Level 7, we would actually encourage them and show them how to learn, but level 8, it's a step up against it. But we designed it with industry, and at the time industry said, look, we need skills in technical writing, we need skills design quality assurance, we need skills in risk. So they're like the three main hits there in level 8. But we also do regulatory and stats and microbial quality assurance, which is now a big focus on sterility assurance as well, and operational excellence, which is the new buzzword. So that's the level 8.
Excellent, Marilla. And how are these programs delivered in terms of, because I know that it's blended. So just to give viewers an idea of the commitment that they would need to attend on campus or what's online, and then even self-guided learning as well for the hours per week, just in terms of the commitment.
Yeah, no, that's very true. I mean, that's the key, isn't it? So for all of them, it's 2 or 3 hours a week. Now, some of them may be self-directed learning. Some of the modules actually are flipped, which means week 1 of a 2-week cycle is self-guided learning, short videos, knowledge checks, and then week 2 is the application of the knowledge it could be through teams, through workshops. But just, you mentioned the blended, and that's kind of the key. That's what we have here in Galway. That's our ACE, is that there's about 3, perhaps 4 on-site visits, on-campus visits. Orientation is key. We put a lot of effort into orientation so students can engage with us, engage with the modules. We have a library tour, student services come along, students union come along, just to let them, I suppose. The thing about applicants is that when you start a course like this, you're quite nervous about, are you able to do it? Are you capable? But you look around the classroom and you can see that everybody is just the same as you, and that we're actually real people. And as Breed said there, we're very supportive, and it's our business to ensure that everybody's comfortable in their learning and grow in their confidence. We see it's just incredible. From that very first day at orientation, people grow and develop through the years and right through to graduation. But to answer your question, 3 or 4 on-sites. 1 is orientation. The other 3 could be like auditing in action is one that comes to mind. Auditing is taught through podcasting, and then they come into class and they do a dummy audit. They have to, we give them evidence. They need to do a research. They need to do an audit checklist, an audit report. They also come in for on-site guest speakers, sharing their knowledge, and then they get to engage with them too. So there's a lot of, I suppose, benefit. The key for the on-site is to make sure that it does add value. That's the thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know that there has been great excitement down on the Galway Mayo campus as well and across ATU to do with this new programme that we've launched. And I think that the headline on that is Europe's first end-to-end sterility assurance. So it does sound very exciting. And again, I talk about delivering these programmes to meet that skills gap within the sector, and that is indeed what happened here in collaboration with the MedTech Association. So if you could speak to that programme and what the modules are in that, or the overview, or and even touching as well on who would possibly be the candidate for that, who would be interested in it.
Okay, so it's a level 9 30 credit postgraduate certificate in end-to-end sterility assurance. As a mouthful for you, but it is first in Europe, and it's so successful that a master's is currently being designed at the minute with it. It's there at the moment. There's 6 modules in it. I've got it here in front of me, and like the things that they look at would be global trends in sterilization. Sustainability being the key, looking at new and novel modalities for sterilization. Clean room technology talks about clean room technology and design. Then the one that I teach on is regulatory affairs and quality management and biocompatibility, and that's about interpreting standards associated with it. It talks about the role of the microbiologist in ensuring sterility assurance. Sterilization experts would be interested in it. Microbiologists would be interested in it. And look, I suppose it's just, it's a niche market. It's been identified, and it was designed and developed with ATU, Irish MedTech Association, Sterility Forum, SkillsNet, IBEC, industry partners. Everybody's involved in it. There's more involved than there is actually taking it at the moment, but it's been co-delivered with industry. It's super. Like in the one that I teach, there's myself as the academic, and then we've industry partners. So we're kind of team teaching it. So it's very modern, new, innovative, energizing actually to be part of that.
Yeah, no, it sounds fantastic. It absolutely does. And before I move on to Mary, is there any entry dates? I know when applications are open now for a lot of
Yeah.
these programs, but is
Yeah.
there anything in terms of housekeeping that people need to be aware of for application dates or entry requirements that you'd like to flag?
There's nothing that I am aware of, other than we've got an exciting piece of news, is that we're designing an ab initio level 7, which is a level 7 that you don't need a level 6 to enter. You can, mature students can enter based on your experience or a foundation certificate or leaving certificate. So this is coming on board in September. And what it is, it's going to have its own level 6 embedded, 2 or 3 level 6 certificates, as well as the 3 level 7s that we have. So we're quite excited about that. So that's coming through in September if anybody is, interested in that.
Brilliant. That is fantastic. We've had some breaking news. Wonderful. Mary, we're going to go over to see if you can top that. So Mary, and thank you so much, Marilla. I'll move on to you, Mary. And I know that you lecture in the Higher Diploma in MedTech Regulatory Affairs, which is a level 8, and then the MSc in Medical Technologies Regulatory Affairs. So again, if you would like to give an overview about what learners can expect if they opted to do either of those programs.
Thanks, Lauren, and good evening, everyone. So both of these programs that we've mentioned here are joint programs in collaboration with University of Galway. So they're ATU and University of Galway. The first one that was developed was the Masters in Medical Technology Regulatory Affairs back in 2005. There was a call from industry that there was a shortage of skills in the medtech industry in the area of quality and regulatory affairs. So in order to meet that skills gap, we worked in conjunction with the Irish Medical Device Association at the time, the IMA, and the Irish MedTech SkillNet Group, and with our industry advisory group to develop a master's program in medtech reg affairs. So this program has been running since then successfully. So it's a 2-year part-time online program. So it's not blended like Marilla's programs. It's completely online. So typically the student population that we're aiming this at are people that are working full-time in industry but are willing to study part-time. So it's delivered mainly in the evenings. So what this might look like is it's semesterized. So you would take 3 modules, for example, in semester 1 that would run from September to December, 3 more modules in semester 2 that would run from January until May. And each of those modules is 5 credits. So the modules that somebody would take in the master's program would cover all of the EU, US, global medtech reg affairs, first of all. And I suppose the demand for this was coming in line with the introduction of the medical device regulation at the time. So the other modules on the program, apart from kind of the core modules in EU, US, and global medtech reg affairs, include things like post-market surveillance, auditing and compliance, risk assessment, technical report writing. There is a dissertation for students on this program as well, a 30-credit dissertation which students undertake over the 2-year period, and it culminates in a master's program which is very niche in medtech reg affairs. So typically the students that have come through this program, and we will be speaking to one, Eugene, in a few moments, they have been very, very successful in their careers upon completion of the program. In fact, there's a published paper on the progression of these students within their careers, and we've seen that most of them have moved 1 step, if not 2 steps upwards within their companies or in alternative companies in the area of reg affairs or quality.
Yeah, it is fantastic. And I think even when you talk about the EU global and US regulation, and that pays back into how big the industry is in Ireland, but they put that figure as an export figure as well, being nearly 13 billion. So it is massive. And I know when I met up with Eugene, and we'll talk to Eugene just in a moment, that it does equip graduates with the skills to work absolutely anywhere, remotely or whatever it is, because there is such a thriving opportunity globally for this particular set of skills within Ireland and the world and globally as well. And I had the pleasure, Mary, of attending one of your alumni events that was on the back of one of your workshops, and it was quite wonderful to see that even though we speak about this being such a massive industry and opportunity, the network within Ireland in terms of professionals is quite small. And I think that the good thing that comes comes out of the programme is those face-to-face workshops as well, where students can network and get to know and build up relationships with each other as well. So I think that's a really important element of that Masters as well. And even at that alumni event, you could see that there was a lot of chit-chat going on about different things, and the public bodies were there as well. So it is wonderful to see that collaboration, and I suppose the relationships go on from the Masters programme as well.
Certainly, yeah. And thanks for mentioning that, Lauren. I suppose one of the key things about the programme is the fact that we have a workshop every semester. Unfortunately, during COVID, we lost those workshops, and we kind of saw a knock-on effect of on the student population at that alumni event. But we typically have a workshop which is a day and a half in duration in the University of Galway in October-November timeframe, and it's across a Friday and a half-day Saturday. And then we hold another one in Athlone in March or April. And we strongly encourage, it's not mandatory, but we strongly encourage students to attend those workshops. So not alone do we have, excellent guest speakers from industry who typically are working in regulatory affairs. We have representatives from, the competent authorities, and we have students who have already completed the Masters who are coming back to, give something back and share their experience, and sometimes share their thesis information or explain the route that they progressed to, completing their thesis to students that are already undertaking that element. So that's the value of the workshops is extremely important, and the networking part of it is especially important. At the very first workshop in October, November, the students begin to communicate differently with each other. The first thing they do is probably set up their student WhatsApp group, and they're much more open to communicating with each other once they've met face to face. And the medtech industry in Ireland is very small, so always if a student doesn't know the other student, they'll know somebody that they work with. So there's always links immediately determined at those workshops.
Absolutely. Yeah, Mary, that is fantastic. We're going to move on to Eugene now to talk about your experience, Eugene. And I think first to let people know, what attracted you to the MSc in MedTech Regulatory Affairs?
Well, really what happened with me was that a few years ago, there was a slight change in my life. And up until that point, I originally had started out in GMIT as it was then, and I actually completed the level 7 in quality management. And I continued working in industry for a number of years, but I was looking to make a change, and I found that because I didn't have my level 8, I was, to be honest with you, snookered. I had all the experience in the world, but I didn't have the level 8. And it was then that, through a little bit of research, I found that ATU and Sligo, or Sligo IT as it was at the time, were doing the level 8 in medical technology and regulatory affairs. And I had been exposed to the medical technology and regulatory affairs in 2 companies that I'd worked in, and I'd taken a bit of an interest in it. So one of the things with myself was that I was never really academically minded. I was one of these lads that struggled through school a little bit, and was a little bit of a fear going back to try and learn something new. And I said to myself, I'll give it a chance. I'll go for it. And automatically I felt at home. It was one of these things where I was working at the time, but I was able to study in the evenings. I was able to set myself up and just get involved in it. And it was as part of that, doing the level 8 and really, really enjoying it, that Mary and a couple of the other lecturers approached me and said to me, would you be interested in doing a master's in medtech? And I'll be honest with you, I thought they were actually having a laugh, because I didn't think it was going to be me that would be doing a master's. But I took it on, got lucky with help of funding, because they can be very, very expensive, and there is funding options out there. But one of the big things that I learned from the level 8 going into the level 9 was the actual continuous assessment approach of the courses, where you actually did assignments all the way through without having to do a final exam. Suited me and suited the way that I like to learn, and suited me in the way that I was able to express myself. So as a result of that, I did the 2 years through COVID on the level 9. The thesis was probably the most difficult thing that I would ever have taken on. I was very frightened by it at the start, but with the support of everybody in ATU, and especially with Mary, because she was my supervisor, it made the learning that you were doing in the previous 2 years actually come to the fore when you were doing your thesis, because you were putting everything that you learned into doing your actual thesis. And it actually became very enjoyable.
Mm-hmm. And just quickly, because I know we're coming up to time, how has it helped you in your career? Because I know when we spoke earlier in the week, you were working on reports from in Brazil, in other far-flung places in the world as well. So quickly, Eugene, how has it helped you in your career?
Well, at the moment, I'm working on regulatory approval for Korea, for China, for Taiwan. I'm looking at Brazil. And this is all information that I learned as part of the master's. That was able to give me the knowledge and the skills to actually go out and find out and have the confidence to know what I was talking about.
Yeah, that's brilliant. And you'd recommend it from all of them as well?
I would highly recommend it. I'm recommending it so much, Lauren, that I've signed up to another course in September.
So I've heard.
I'm actually going back again after a year out to learn some more.
Yeah, well, look, that is brilliant. And thank you so much, everyone, for your time. And look, there's so much that we could talk about it and delve deeper into it, but we just don't have time this evening. But if anyone does want to find out more about it, any of the programs that we spoke about, there's information on atu.ie/flexible. You can ask questions in our Q&A panel box as well. And this recording will be published as well. So a big thank you to Marilla, Mary and Eugene for joining us, and for everyone who watched us this evening as well. Thank you.